try to recall the plot of Blazblue Continuum Shift. Oh man. So I am actually less confident in my knowledge of Continuum Shift than I am in Calamity Trigger. But before I move on to Continuum Shift, I think there's a few details I missed in Calamity Trigger that I need to catch up on. So yeah, go ahead, start the clock. Time until Continuum Shift. Okay, so after Yuki Terumi, Hazama kidnaps Noelle, he signals Space Genova to fire on Kagatsuchi or something, right? And then Rachel suddenly appears out of nowhere and puts up a big giant counter shield called the Tsukuyomi unit, and she deflects the blast.
Alright, good factors that.
Yeah, I also missed a little detail that after Jin fights Ragna, he gets teleported to Moonlight Wilderness. And he's like contemplating like, oh, why do I fail so hard? Why am I so low tier? And then Rachel appears and she's all like, oh hey, you're the hero of Ikaruga. And he's all like, nah, that's just a name that the public offices just gave to me for propaganda purposes. Rachel's all like, hey, so you want to be a real hero? Okay. Then she like takes Jin and flings him into the boundary. And then he like gets his soul transferred into this robot thing called a Susanoo unit. And then it turns out he becomes Hakumen and gets thrown back into the past to defeat the Black Beast there.
That is actually one of Jin's non-canon endings.
What?
But every ending is canon.
No, okay, no, hold on a second. Because the problem with Blazblue Calamity Trigger, every ending is true and not true because of a time loop. But in Continuum Shift, everything is also true and not true due to a Deus Ex Machina that I will explain later. So, just bear with me for a minute. But anyways, Hakumen is Jin from the future who is in the past, and therefore is Hakumen in the present is now Jin from the past in the future. Fuck time travel. So, like, the reason why Hakumen's here is because Sector 7 found him floating around in the boundary, and they're all like, hey, is that Hakumen? Let's catch a Hakumen! And they pull him out, and then makes this deal with Kokonoi, who is one of the bigwigs at Sector 7. He says, hey, I want my run back against the Black Beast, and then I'll take your orders. And Kokonoi agrees, but is all like, I don't trust that Hakumen because he's an asshole. And the other one loose end I have to worry about is Carl Clover. I didn't really talk about him that much last time.
No, you did not.
The doll is actually his sister because Papa Clover is some kind of mad scientist that decided to turn Carl's sister and his wife into dolls because he's creepy like that. So yeah, after Rachel deflects the big Genova laser, we now move on to Continuum Shift.
Okay.
Oh fuck. Oh, no we don't. Shit, sorry, restart the clock. Because Continuum Shift focuses on a character from Noelle's backstory, where Noelle went to high school and she made two main friends. One is Tsubaki Yayoi, who is part of the Duodecim, and Makoto Nanaya, who is a squirrel girl who works in the NOL intelligence agency. So, at the beginning of Continuum Shift, Tsubaki gets orders from Hazama to kill or capture Noelle Vermilion and Jin Kisaragi. Now, Tsubaki is super conflicted because she has a huge lady boner for Jin. Meanwhile, back in Kagatsushi, Ragna immediately ditches Noelle, even though Noelle seems oddly, like, attached to him. But then again, Noelle is normally an emotional wreck, so her getting attached to people is not anything new. So he ditches Noelle and... Fuck, where does he go? I think he bumps into some weird robed figure, who you later discover is named Platinum the Trinity, and she also acts like Taokaka, where she demands him to feed her, and then he does, and then she just runs off to some random other fucking location. I will get to Platinum in a minute, because her story is actually more linked to Bang.
Okay.
Yeah, Platinum's looking for Bang, so that she can tell Bang that Bang's old master that he served back in Ikaruga is still alive, and he needs to use the big giant nail, the heirloom or whatever, to do something, and I don't remember when he uses it. I think it's in Central Fiction. But anyways, back to Ragna. I don't know where Ragna's going. He doesn't seem to have a freaking goal, aside from, I need to beat up Terumi, but I don't know where he is. So Ragna, I guess, is just getting into fights with random people. Like, I think he runs into Tsubaki, and then he fights her, and then, but Tsubaki's main target is not Ragna, so she just kind of lets him go. And then, alright, you know what? Let's focus on other characters then.
Yeah.
Jin is licking his wounds, I think, still. He eventually runs into Tsubaki as well as Noelle, and then I guess they fight and have a big, heartbreaking reunion or some shit. Meanwhile, Noelle's other friend, Makoto, is a traitor, and she's, like, defecting from the NOL because she's secretly meeting up with Tager in order to give Sector 7 some inside information that I forgot what information she's relaying to Tager. But I think also her secondary objective is to save Noelle from Tsubaki. Wait a minute. What am I even talking about? Didn't Hazama steal Noelle? When did Noelle get away from Hazama? Oh, fuck.
I think you have greatly misinterpreted something about the ending events of Calamity Trigger.
What happened?
Okay.
Okay, hold on. I just got a flashback of something. So let's rewind to the beginning of Continuum Shift.
Reset the clock.
After Rachel activates the big shield, she has to check into this weird white space computer place, and she's talking to these weird AI things who talk all weird and cryptic, but then again, Rachel always speaks cryptic, so I guess it makes sense to them but not to us. And they're saying that they need to maintain the Continuum Shift or something because the time loop was broken, and these guys are like, I don't know how to handle this. Where could we possibly go from here? And I guess I'll just spoil the ending right now of what the Continuum Shift is. So the Continuum Shift is like this program run by the Master Unit, which is a big giant robot god in the sky. And they're running this program called Takamagahara. And what it does, it simulates every single possibility that it can think of, all at the same time, for some reason. I guess they can't figure out what the true ending is anymore, so they're just gonna try it all at once.
Let's go with that for now.
Alright, so Hazama's plan is that he's gonna kidnap Noelle, and he's gonna stick her in the Master Unit and make her remember that she's a robot and give her her sword back. Because she, you know how she was a Murakuma unit? And Murakuma units are born from swords? So he has her sword, and he like sticks Noelle back into the sword, and she becomes Mew 12, who then, oh my bad, he's not trying to take control of the Master Unit, he's trying to destroy the Master Unit. So then I guess Takamagahara is all like, no, we don't want him to do that, so we're trying to find a possibility that stops him.
Speaking of Murakuma units.
Oh yeah, and okay, fine, rewind the clock. So, somewhere during the events of Calamity Trigger, Kokonoe and Sector 7 recover a Murakuma unit from just some other random hierarchical city that was destroyed by Space Genova, right? And they recover Lambda 11, who is basically a recolor of New, because they just wanted to keep New's gameplay in the game while killing her in canon. So, Kokonoe decides, hey, I guess I could use more robots under my control. Hey, Tager, can you take Lambda out for like a test drive and make sure she's functioning properly? Also, I'm gonna stick this experimental thing in her called a idea engine, and no, I have no idea what it does. So yeah, so now we have this Murakuma unit running around with Tager and Hakumen. They're just rolling around like fucking shit up, doing science. So back to Hazama, right? So Hazama apparently also has a Blazblue. He has an Azure Grimoire in his arm too, because I think he built one of the Blazblues.
One of the Blazblues?
Yeah, because there are multiple ones. Ragna's doesn't have a real Blazblue, and he has to accept the fact that the Blazblue's power isn't his own.
Are you sure Hazama only built one Blazblue?
No, he built a whole bunch of them.
Yes.
I don't know who's got them though, but in any case, Ragna rushes to the top of the NOL tower where Hazama has kidnapped Noelle, and then he fights Hazama, and then he loses to Hazama, and then Hazama unveils his creation, aka Mu 12, and then at that point arcade mode ends, and it ends on a cliffhanger, and I'm not sure because that's where Takamagahara is all like, okay, well that's one possibility, let's try another one. And the process repeats over and over and over again. Or rather, Takamagahara is simulating all these possibilities at once. So, in the true ending, Ragna reaches the top of the NOL tower at the same time Tager does, and Tager, like, throws Lambda up there because that's what Kokonoe's orders was, and Tager's the type of character that doesn't question orders. So with Lambda up there with Ragna's fighting Hazama, and Hazama's like basically destined to win this battle every single time. So through weird science bullshit, Kokonoe figures that if you take the Blazblue plus whatever the fucking idea engine is, combine them together, and you'll get a real Blazblue, and that'll overpower Hazama's Blazblue, and therefore Ragna kills Hazama in that one instance, right?
Okay.
And this is the one possibility that Takuma Gahara is all like, whoa, what the fuck was that? Was the hypest shit ever!
Is that what they're excited about? Ragna defeats Hazama?
No. Ragna defeating Mu 12 is what they were getting hype about. Because, right, okay, so just pretend I said everything I said about Hazama was Mu 12. So, Ragna defeats Mu 12, and Takuma Gahara's like, oh shit, he did it! But while they were too distracted with their own hype, Terumi slips out of Hazama and into Takuma Gahara and kills all of the computers, thus breaking the Continuum Shift. And then it's at some point, Tsubaki, like, fought Noelle and then lost to Noelle, and then she's sitting off on the side dejected, and then the fucking big boss of the NOL herself, the Imperator, says, "Come, my child, become my apprentice, and together we shall rule the galaxy." So that Tsubaki becomes a Sith Lord and loses her sight because that's what her Mario Cap does to her. And then after Terumi destroys Takuma Gahara, fucking the Imperator shows up to taunt Ragna, and then Ragna's all like, "Fuck you, Saya!" Because now there are more Saya clones! Which is true and not true at the same time. And that's the plot of Continuum Shift.